Hello class and welcome to math today. We are going to talk about graphing in the coordinate plane. Like I said in our morning meeting video, this is something that we've talked a lot about during science class, but we haven't really isolated it just to math class. I'm a little worried about filming this, I'll be honest with you, because graphing does involve a lot of direction, and so I'm a little bit worried about going backwards, but we're going to do the best we can with a beautiful smile on our face. I'm realizing now that I forgot to do a meditation in our morning meeting, and so I do want to do one now. Also, just because math can sometimes be stressful, and we want to make sure, especially when we're learning some new vocabulary today, that we come into it with an open mind. So I want you all to take a deep breath in, shut your eyes, or look down past your nose at a blank object. Take a deep breath in and out. So one of our meditation strategies for today is going to be to add tapping in. And so what I want you to do is on a surface in front of you or on your legs, I want you to slowly count to 8, breathing in, and tap. So ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now breathe out, and we're going to keep tapping for 8. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Take a deep breath in and reach up towards the sky. And bring your hands down to heart center. Okay, my awesome mathematicians, you are great at this. You are doing an amazing job, and I love all the effort that I'm seeing, so keep up the good work. As is usual, in my classroom, I'm working hard not to spill my coffee this morning. So let's get started. Today, we are going to do the graphing, bunny hill, and hot cocoa break. So this should just be the next page in your ultimate math notebook. I'm going to look and see what page number that is exactly. So it says, unfortunately, it says metric measurement, and that's just because I messed up the title when I was doing this worksheet. But it is on page 176. And it looks like this. Okay, so it's right after the additive volume that you should have done on Thursday. We're on the very next page. Okay, let's get started. So it says, for the bunny hill, it says identify the following on the coordinate plane: quadrant 1, quadrant 2, quadrant 3, and quadrant 4. And then it wants you to add plus, plus, minus, minus, plus, minus, minus, plus. So for our bunny hill, rather than me drawing it, it is easier just to show you, just because directions matter. So in quadrant 1, you'll notice that it says plus plus. So what's kind of cool about this is everything that's in that quadrant or that section of our coordinate plane or graph paper, everything is going to have a positive number followed by a positive number. In quadrant 2, which is the one to the left, we're going to have negative, positive. In quadrant 3, which is down to the left, we are going to have numbers that are negative, negative. And in quadrant 4, we're going to have numbers that are positive, then negative. So that just kind of determines where they go. And then the x-axis is the one going up and down. And the y-axis is the one going up and down, and the x-axis is going left to right. So take a moment, make sure you fill that in on your bunny hill, and then meet me back. So one thing I want to make sure that we're clear on is what is a negative number? We've talked about this a little bit, but I want to make sure that we're all on the same page. So this is my number line. Goes forever in both directions, right? This is 0 on my number line, right? So all of the numbers that are positive after 0, those are going to be, no wait, that's the wrong direction. After 0, those are going to be positive numbers. Numbers that are less than 0 are going to be negative numbers. So I think it goes like this. So those are our positive numbers, right? And over to this side, we have our negative numbers. So that would start with -1, -2, -3, -4, and -5. Okay, so we have positive numbers and we have negative numbers. So we've talked a lot this year about numbers that are less than 1. So when we're talking about fractions, when we're talking about decimals, when we're talking about parts of a whole, we're talking not about negative numbers. We're talking about all the numbers that fall between 0 and 1. And that's really what we spent a lot of time the last few modules in Eureka talking about. So for example, 0.1 would fall in there. 1/10 would fall in there. 1/2 would fall in there. 1/3 would fall in there, right? This is all the fractions and decimals less than 1. They all fall within this area. We've also been talking about numbers that are a lot bigger than this, okay? So none of the word problems that we've been doing this far have really prepared us for this section of our number line. So why would we use negative numbers? What situations would we have? So for example, if Bob goes to the store, right? And he has, let's say, $20 with him. Okay, but he sees something that costs $25 and he really wants it. So he borrows $5 from his sister. So he had $20. He borrowed some money and spent $25. So how much money does he have left? He has less money than 0, right? He owes someone money. So he has actually negative $5 at the end of this. So that's a situation for negative numbers. That's just kind of a review of what negative numbers are. Why in the world do we care on the coordinate plane? And you might be like, Mrs. Benavides, we haven't used negative numbers at all when we were talking about science. And that's kind of why I'm going over it too. Because in science, all of our data has been positive. There are situations in science where your data might be negative, but for us, let's just focus on the positives. And we've really only been working with bar graphs, line graphs, etc. So this is essentially a line graph or a coordinate plane that we're plotting, okay? And we're going to use ordered pairs or sets of numbers to figure out where to put the dots. This is just like all the line graphs that we have been doing all year long, where we've been plotting temperature and changes over time. Excuse me. So this is coordinate 1, right? So all year, we have just been focusing on this coordinate, right? This is where we've been graphing all of our stuff in science. Now, if we had other numbers, we could move into coordinate 2, right? And then coordinate 3 and coordinate 4. Make sense? So far, let's review what we've talked about today because that was a lot. There are 2 kinds of numbers that we're talking about when we're graphing on a coordinate plane. A coordinate plane is just a fancy way to say, like basically a line graph change over time, but with all different directions. So far this year, we've only been focusing on graphing stuff in quadrant 1. Now we're going to move on to graphing stuff in all 4 quadrants. Positive numbers, which again is what we've been doing in quadrant 1 all year, go this way on the number line. They're numbers that are greater than 1. Up to this point, we've talked a lot about numbers that are in between 0 and 1. Numbers that are not negative, but they are not quite a whole number yet. Now we're adding in some negative numbers. These are numbers that are less than 0. They usually involve things like owing money or owing something, taking away more than you have. We showed this what a negative number is in this situation with Bob, who had $20. He went to the store, he spent $25, so now he has negative $5. So that's kind of a review of positive, negative numbers. This is our coordinate plane. So now you watched in the video before this what an ordered pair is. So an ordered pair is basically just a group of directions. And they go like this. So just like if you were driving with your Nana or your mom or your dad or your uncle to the store, okay, they might have a GPS on that says, turn left, then turn right. So that's kind of what these ordered pairs are. They're basically like our Google Maps of the graphing world. And so this first one is going to tell us, where are we moving on our x-axis? Where are we moving from left to right? And that's why it says in the song, X is left and right from the side to the side. So this number is going to tell us Where do we need to go this way? Okay, so let's say this is 1. Then my next number is going to tell me where I'm going on the y-axis. And so why is that important? It's going to tell me how far I'm going up and down. So let's take a step back. This is called my coordinate plane. It's basically like my city where I'm driving. My ordered pairs are basically like my directions. They're telling me when I need to turn, when I need to go up, when I need to go down. The first number in an ordered pair is going to tell me where I'm going on the x-axis, left and right. My second number in my ordered pair is going to tell me how far I need to go up and how far I need to go down. So let's say this one is 3. Okay, so my first ordered pair, or my first set of directions, is telling me to go 1, 3. Now, how do I know which direction to go? So if it's positive, I'm going to go to the right. If it's negative, I'm going to go to the left for this x. So positive, we're going to go to the right. And if it helps you, you can, of course, add notes on. I know we watched a whole video on taking good notes on Thursday, so use those skills, people. And then if it's negative, and this is, of course, for the x-axis, we're going to go to the left. So my first ordered pair, my first direction tells me that I'm going to go 1 to the right, right? So I'm going 1 over, but that's not actually where my dot is going to go. That was a mistake. Okay, starting over. So this is telling me I should go 1 to the right because it's positive, right? So I'm going 1 up on the y-axis. So on our y-axis, if it's a positive number, we're going to go up. And if it's a negative number, we're going to go down. Is that it right, D? Yeah. So positive is up, negative is down. X positive is right, negative is left. So we already moved 1 to the right. Now we need to go 3 up because it's a positive number. 1, 2, 3. So let's show you. 1 and then up 3. 1, 2, 3. Put a dot here. Pretty easy, right? Let's try this again. Let's do another ordered pair on this. So this ordered pair, by the way, is positive, positive, right? There's 2 positive numbers, and it's in quadrant 1. Why they call it quadrant 1, who cares? Just memorize it. It goes 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, let's do another one. Let's do -1, 5. Let's see what that brings us to, okay? So I'm always, by the way, I always start at my home base, 0, 0, the center of this little cross section. This is basically like where you live, if you think of this as directions, right? We're always going to start at our house in the center of this coordinate plane. So from here, I'm going to go -1. So because it's a negative number, I'm going to go to the left. -1. And then this is a positive number, right? So I'm going to go positive is up. So I went to the right, left 1, and now I'm going to go up. I went this way because this is negative. I'm going to go up because it's positive. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So my next dot would go here. So that's the main idea of today's lesson. If you didn't get it, it's okay. Take a deep breath. We're going to go through this in the next couple of days. Also, feel free to text me any questions that you have. But that's essentially it. So you can practice this concept with the next thing that we're doing, which is the hot cocoa break. So graph the following coordinates. So 1, 2, 0, 5, 3, -3, 2, 2, -1, 1, 3, 3, -5, 0, -5, 3, -3, -2, 2, 3, 0. And then you can check your answers. Here's where all of those dots should be. So give yourself an extra pat on the scapula if you really understood that. That's awesome. If you didn't, we're going to take it a little bit slower tomorrow to move a little bit faster throughout the rest of the week. Thank you so much for listening, everybody. I hope you have a lot of fun graphing, and I will see you for science.